Welcome to the Know Better, Grow Better show. This is your favorite girl, Jamila, aka Miss Resource, and I'm with my favorite, Sean, aka Mr. Coquito. How you doing?
What's good, guys? How you doing today? Thank you for listening in to another episode.
Dun, 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 dun.
What episode are we on right now? We on episode...
I don't know, but this is a part 2.
Yeah, this is a part 2. This is episode 9, I think. 8 or 9, I don't know. But we're getting up there. We're staying consistent with you. So I want to just thank you for tuning in and listening. But before we jump into our conversation, just how was your week?
How was the week? 3-day weekend. We went to a barbecue. Actually, 2 barbecues this past weekend. We got to hang out with people. You played spades. I still don't fully understand the game, but that's another topic. You came to my career fair, and it was JC's birthday.
Yep. Oh, tell them about JC's birthday. Now we got officially a teenager, guys.
He hit 13, and I'm heartbroken.
Why are you heartbroken?
Because he's 13 and he's huge.
He's taller than you.
He's like 5'9", maybe even 5'10" right now. I don't even know. And he just getting grown. He don't care about much but games and basketball.
No girls?
He don't really care for the girls. They there. But he's just like, whatever. You know he's cute, so they'll be there.
So let the listeners know what we did for JC.
We took him out because this boy wanted to do fast food for dinner for his birthday. And I said, absolutely not. So we agreed to Olive Garden, and we took him to Olive Garden. We had a nice little dinner. We had his friend there, had my siblings there. We got to hang out, family time. And then we also took him to the gun range.
That was super
for his
fun.
birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Had to teach him the rules and regulations of the weapon so he understand. So if an emergency come down or his friends playing with it, he knows what to do. I gotta make sure I'm protected.
And he did super well. You know this
boy first time
it's so crazy.
Did not miss one shot.
Yeah,
all body shots.
We had, because we're super relational people, so we walked in there, smiled at the guy, and he was like, listen, I'm gonna train you, all 3 of you,
I got you
to the gun range. So that was pretty dope. So
yeah.
The guy took the gun, showed us how to shoot, how to hold it, how to lean forward, how to step, how to position, how to aim. And none of us miss not one shot.
I mean, we've shot before, so it's different.
Mm-hmm.
But for JC's first time, not one missed shot. All body shots. He even did the eyeballs and between the eyes. Like, he got aim. That's what I'm talking about. The
instructor was like, all right, where you aiming? He said the lungs. I was like, all right, all on the lungs, same area. Pop, 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 pop. So it was good.
Yeah.
And then the gun we had for him was a really light gun, so there was no recoil. Mm-hmm. So it was a good starter for him. But he was nervous,
super scared. He was like, I don't know about this because the sound bothers me. I said, oh, I thought you always you always wanted to try it. You play all these gun games, all these video games. You talking about how you got this great aim, but now you're scared. He was like, the sound. It's the sound that bothers me. Okay, well, you got the earplugs, so you're good. He was like, yeah, but then you're making excuses now. We're going to try it out because I don't want you ever to be in a situation and then you have to fear for your life. I need you to know how to handle yourself in case of emergency.
Yep. So now he knows how to put the bullets in, take the bullets out, put on the safety, take out the clip. Make sure he be careful with the chamber where he put his finger. So it was dope.
Yep.
It was dope.
And now he's just like, all right, when we going back? I want to try a different gun now.
He wasn't ready for a bigger gun though.
He was like, nah. He got to use a little gun.
Oh no, the guy's personal gun.
Yeah, he got to use that, so he was really excited that he got to do that one, and that one has some recoil. It was good.
Yeah,
that was fun.
So it was dope.
I want to hear about your experience for career day.
So Jamila freaking self-volunteered me to a career day for school, so I got to speak to middle school. I don't know, these kids look so small.
They were 6th grade through 8th grade.
6th grade through 8th grade, but like the 8th graders were small, the 6th graders were tall. Like
Yeah, sounds about right.
But it was cute. It was cute. So so it was really good. So it was me and 2 other presenters in my room, and what was interesting was that we had 2 sessions. It was supposed to be 3, but there was a half a day, blah, blah, blah.
Wasn't a half a
But
day.
I don't
They
know. That's
lied.
just what they said. That's between you and the school. But we had 2 sessions, and the kids got to pick the room that they wanted to listen from. So I don't know what the other rooms were exactly, but my room was finance and business. So both sessions were full with like 30 kids. I don't know if that's a lot. Or that's normal.
about a classroom.
Oh, that's about a classroom. So had 30 kids in each, and it was fun. And what I did differently, which was super interesting, was so I purposely went last and had 3 different presentations ready to go because I didn't want to bore the kids, but I don't know what direction was the other speakers going in. So one guy just fully spoke on his experience, what he does, right? The second guy did a full presentation, and I was like, all right, I don't want to come back with just speaking and presentation. So what I did and prepared for was it's something called the jelly bean money game for kids. So what that is...
Candy and money.
Yep. So what that is you take jelly beans, and on these 2 sheets of paper, right, I want you to visualize, there's different things that you have to pay for life. So it's like insurance, house... cars, transportation, but in each box there's like 4 different categories. So for example, for transportation is like you could put no jelly beans just to walk, right, to travel, or you could put 1 jelly bean to get on the bus, 2 jelly beans to have a used car, or 3 jelly beans to get a new car. And then the different categories so think about that same layout. And then the different categories was transportation, home and house, clothes, entertainment, gifts, housing insurance, health insurance, life insurance, and I forgot. It's like 2 or 3 other more categories.
Give them perspective.
Yep, give them perspective. So I told the kids, hey, listen, I'm a financial coach. We help people deal with budgeting and tracking and help people with money. So this is how we're going to do. So it was interesting. So we gave all the kids the sheets, and they worked in groups. So sorry to say this, guys, but what I've noticed in the groups, of course, is that 1, they wish they had more money.
As always.
Right?
That's a given.
So as kids, they like, excuse me, Mr. Sean? Yeah. Can we have more jelly beans? No, you can't have more jelly beans.
That's how much you got paid.
You got to figure this out. So it was cute. Then the second thing, right, is how they prioritize things. Like some of the kids wanted a better car versus better clothes. But then some kids wanted better gifts, right, or entertainment. So that could be like your PlayStation or your Roblox and everything, versus having insurance, right? So then it was funny because I asked one kid, I was like, well, why would you not pay for insurance? And they was like, well, my mother pays that for me. So I was like, what happens when you turn 18 or 30 or 20? Yeah, my mom is going to pay for me. And I had to make them understand, like, that's not how it works. Like, once you leave the classroom, like, you're going to have to start thinking and paying for these things. So it's really interesting. And
see
then
what they're seeing at home, what they're hearing at home.
What they're seeing at home, that was a big thing to me, too. Because not knowing, like, the classroom or put any, like, kids or anything to shame, but we already know in the Black and brown community, like, there are some struggles at home, right? And one thing I seen on some of the sheets, which it was a little sad to me too, is like some people they were used to the hand-me-down clothes. So you could see some of them like who were dressed up in the Jordans and the nicer clothes wanted the nicer clothes on their sheet, and then the other kids not that they looked raggedy, but you could tell it wasn't the newest clothes, was okay with just the hand-me-down clothes.
Yeah.
So it was more of more of not just like learning where to prioritize your tracking and budgeting, but really where the mindset was for the kids.
Right.
It was like sad, but then like this is the time to instill in them different things and know it's possible.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you got to see that.
Yeah,
it was big.
It was big, and I could imagine like, you know, you working in the school, you see this every day. The teachers seeing this every day, right?
Just not having a outlet to have those discussions with them, because everything's surrounded by the data and the subject. So it's just coming out and have a different type of conversation with them was big. So because when I did my career fair with my kids, they were looking for the entrepreneurs.
What grade?
I had third through fifth. Okay. And the fifth graders was like, "Where's the entrepreneur people at?" And I'm like, "What do you know about that?" And he was like, "Well, I just want to have my own business." And I'm just like, I didn't want to jump in. I wanted to see what the people would talk about, and they were just interested in seeing what starting your own business like entailed. So just watching that flourish from where me knowing where they are was interesting.
And then like with the kids, and this is what I respected about each presenter too, is that everyone made sure they gave the kids something of mindset.
That's big.
Right? So like one guy was like a singer and he had a good job. Right? So he let the kids know, listen, you can do both. And there's room to be more than just one focus of business or, you know, working or anything. You can do both. The next guy was just saying, like, build a team, right? It's not just you by yourself. And there's different components. Like, we look at one area and we think that's all it is when there's a tree or a foundation that sprouts out to different areas. So definitely, like, do your studies and do your research and make sure you learn about every component and try it all out. Because one area you may think is interesting and you may hate it, and then another area you may love. And then when I came, because they both said some good things, I was telling them my story, how I started off as a chef, but now I'm in finance and now I do, you know, other businesses, that it's okay to change your mind, right? Because we get stuck at, this is what I thought of when I was in 6th, 7th grade, so I have to do it. So it was really good, and we had a lot of fun. So I definitely thank you for the invite.
You're welcome.
Make sure I want to do the younger kids too.
Yeah.
Right. So that was fun, and then I gotta get the teacher's name. One of the teachers stole my jelly bean game and was like, "Listen, I want to use this for my classroom." I don't know what she studied, but we're gonna figure out her name.
Yeah,
and we're gonna figure out. Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. Let me see what else happened in that career day. I think that was just about it. That was about it with that. Oh, I will say this too. So you told me they prep the kids, right?
They're supposed to.
So if they did prep the kids, they did one phenomenal job. I will say that, because they asked some questions that I wouldn't have necessarily expected from, you said middle school, right? Middle school kids, and at that age. So they were asking like, they was like, "Excuse me, sir, what's your net worth?"
That like, question killed me, because I've seen third graders ask that question. I'm like, what?
Yeah, like, I would expect them to say, "Hey, how much money you make?" Right? That's a natural question. They're like, "Excuse me, what's your net worth?" One kid asked like, "If I was to go to college, like what would you recommend me for to study?" So the answer we gave them as a collective was like business and marketing, because you can use that across the board, right? Be having that business acumen in mind and instilling that to different companies, and the marketing too. Marketing, of course, will overlap with sales.
That's true.
So that was one of the other questions. Let me see. They asked some good questions. Oh, one, so I almost had to fight one of the kids.
That sound like me.
All right, so I couldn't find my everyday watch, right? So I'm an Invicta lover in watches, so I couldn't find my everyday watch. So I wore my birthday gift watch. So it's the Flash, and no pun intended, it is a little flashy. Bright red, gold, has a flash on it. So one of the kids was like, "Excuse me, how much your watch costs?" So I told them, right? They was like, "Whoa." And it was like, "What was on it?" I was like, "Oh, it's the Flash, because that's my favorite character." And this girl wanted to say, "Ew, you need to go to Marvel." I was like, "Excuse me?" I was like, "This ain't the time and place, Sean. Just woosah real quick, right? We supposed to be good with these kids. I wanted to beat up this little girl.
I thought we were cool.
I thought we was cool up until that point. We was cool. And then they wanted to eat my candy, but I had to promise them candy, so I brought the candy, and everybody loved me after that.
Of course.
Because I had candy. One kid was allergic to peanuts, so I had some Starburst for him.
You remember it's a peanut-free school, and you're not supposed to give.
Okay. They're not listening to this. My bad. Once he said that, I was like, "Oh, kids, there's peanuts in here." My bad.
Oh my god.
But I did have some Starburst, so it was fun. And then I had and then to end this, they gave us some notes, so I was really touched. You know the little that's what you call it, right? Notes.
Thank you notes.
They wrote me thank you notes, and like some of them said like, "Sean, thank you for opening up my mind to business." I forgot what the other ones were said. That one touched me though. Yeah. Because like I said, it's the language of these kids. I didn't expect it.
Opening my eye to business.
So I had fun. How's your 3-day weekend going? Good?
Yeah. I got a burger. That's all I needed. I just wanted a cheeseburger.
You know what?
Got me a cheeseburger.
I had a spicy sausage with some onions and peppers.
All we needed is something off the grill, and
That's it. We was good. So we're bringing it back today, guys. 2 weeks ago, we had Angie, this Bronx Girl Writes in the building, and we deep dived into her backstory and everything, but we wanted to even get a deeper dive into her most recent article called Abandoning the Hustle. So this is part 2. If you're listening to this, just go back to Abandoning the Hustle part 1 before you even listen to this.
Yeah. Before we started, just thinking about the word hustle and the meaning behind it will help you understand why you're abandoning the hustle.
So we're going to start with a reading, and we're going to deep dive into every paragraph and really bring down not just our thoughts, but the thoughts of some of our mentors, the thoughts of some of the people we work with, some of the, from successful to all the way down to the small businesses, to the employee mindset, and just wrapping it and giving you the consensus of how we think. And again, like, you may not agree with everything we say, but definitely take it into some account, challenge your thinking, right? Because that's why we're here. We want to challenge your thinking, challenge your growth.
Opening your eyes.
Opening your eyes, but definitely take what you can apply for you, right? Because we understand that everything doesn't apply to you, but some things do, and sometimes it's just that one little pivot or switch that can make all the difference in your life. Right. So breaking it down. Who reads first? Me or you? I forgot.
You.
Me? All right. So breaking down Abandoning the Hustle by Angie from this Bronx Girl Writes. I know, I got it. So this is the first paragraph. We're going to do it paragraph by paragraph, and then we'll break it down. So the first paragraph says, "Get your ass up and work." An infamous quote by a very well-known Kardashian. She later retracted her statement because, well, we we are all working. Statistics show that unemployment is at its lowest. Surprising, right? To think I almost immediately agreed with her. I have worked my ass off for almost 2 decades. However, in my family, I am of that generation in which we are forced to break generational trauma and somehow establish generational wealth. Lucky me, huh? I'll let you be the first since I read it.
It's just that concept of like right now, this generation, we're really trying to change things because all of our past, all of our ancestors all had the same mindset of just getting up and just doing things and just getting up and just take care of this and just take care of that. But now we're starting to look at things differently and realizing that's not the way to go. So being the first to start changing it and for her to realize that, like, no, I got to change things up. I like that.
Yeah.
I like how she started it.
Yeah, and it's a definitely eye-opener, right? Because going backwards, right? I am that of generation in which we are forced to break generational trauma and somehow establish generational wealth. We briefly talked about it with Angie, but sometimes our trauma, the things we go through, is not our own. It's been passed down from our family from generations to generations.
Didn't even realize it.
Exactly. And like, because our great-grandfather, great-grandmother struggled, they passed those struggles down, and now we're struggling as well because we're adopting the mindset that has passed down, and we feel like we have to hustle. We feel like we have to struggle. We feel like if there's no pain in which we're going through, that it's not real. And that's definitely not the case. And then on top of that, to add the icing on the cake, we have to produce generational wealth
on top of that.
On top of the trauma. Like you're saying I have to break this trauma and make money for my family, so then this way my great grandbabies are not struggling. And
I'm still feeling the pain from my great past.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And to become the one, right? We always hear this. You have to become the one. And for some of us listening to this, you are the one in your family. If you're still breathing, if you're still listening to this, like no matter how old you are, don't feel like you're too old or too young. You can still, and you are, I'm letting you know, you are the one in your family to really make things change. Do you agree with that?
I second that 100%.
Yeah. So some steps, right? Because I want this to be realistic and some actionable things, is that I want you to start off with, like, what are you telling yourself, right? Are you accepting pain from others because that the pain that you're giving yourself is not as bad as what other people are giving you, right? So you're accepting that pain. So we have to change this negative self-talk that was put upon us and stop accepting it and really making ourselves aware, writing it down, becoming aware of it. And it's saddening. I know I'm talking a little slow, but it's a little saddening because that's what me and Jay is going through, right? Where we have not made it yet, right? By far. But we know that our future holds something better than our past.
Right.
Right? And we was talking about somebody with this earlier today, is that anxiety is caused by thinking of the future. Depression is caused by thinking of the past. And sadness is what anchors us to the present. So in that sadness of knowing what's going on right now, you have the ability to change. And just know that some people may not say thank you or congratulate you.
Mm-hmm. You might
or
not get
pat
your
you on the
flowers.
back,
That's
right?
people big on right now.
Or get your flowers right away. But just know you can do that for yourself. You can be that for yourself. And eventually everything around you will start evolving and changing.
Yeah, remembering that change is good, change is necessary, and that mindset that you were adopted to know is from before. Like, things have changed. We're not living in that lifetime anymore. We're not living in that society that they're talking about. So just knowing that things are different, and it's okay to say, no, I'm gonna do it this way instead.
And then just to challenge it a little bit, I know Angie said she didn't agree with this statement, saying that statistics show that unemployment is at its lowest, which just means that's the traditional employment. So the traditional employment, which may be right, but I'm glad that Angie did not agree with it, because what most people don't know during a depression or recession is that during unemployment, that's where entrepreneurship rises.
Flourish, yep.
And that's where people are making their money, right? So they can't document the hustle, right? I know we're abandoning this word, but we'll get to it at the end. But the hustle of how people are making their money, right? Because spending is still high, employment may be low, but entrepreneurship is rising. And women are doing great in this area. Statistically, women are doing great in this entrepreneurship. So men, let's get better. Let's get better, men. Let's get better.
But wait, I just want to go back to the word, because the point is abandoning the hustle, but it's what the hustle means, right? People talk about, but do people understand what that word means? Like, by definition, by the street definition, what does that mean? And is that something worth keeping?
Oh, you asking me, or you have a conversation?
I'm asking you. Do you know what that means?
Listen, when we use hustle in the streets, is just how we gonna make that next dollar, right? And rewind. Hustle just really means like by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It is not necessarily attached to the dollar, but by any means necessary, how we gonna get this done?
And it's more so working extremely hard every single day when other people in your shoes want to do it, and still keeping a smile on your face, still being happy about it because you love it, even though you can hate the job, but you hustling because you know you got to keep going. But you have to put on that face and love it and be smart about it.
Mm-hmm. So hustle to your dreams, guys. Move faster.
Right.
Move faster. So Jay, next.
Take it away. So continuing the statistics. In 2016, unemployment was at 4.6%, higher than what it is in 2023. We are averaging a 3.4% unemployment rate, according to the data collected by the Bureau of Labor. The dollar has lost 20% of its value. While it may not seem high percentage-wise, it also indicates that you will only buy 80% of what it did back in 2016. In a data analysis done by Ian Webster, he covers how poorly our economy has been. I'll explain it in layman's terms. There is currently a 6.41% inflation rate, and there is currently a price increase of 24.65%.
So that's the next crazy thing, right? 'Cause so now, right, you come into our world of money, right? So
dollar.
Our dollar is not raising to the same inflation rate. So what a dollar is today,
that's not what it was before.
What does Fat Joe say? Today's price is not yesterday's price.
Are you feeling overwhelmed with your finances? Do you feel like you're barely making it paycheck to paycheck? Or are you unsure where your money is going each month? Maybe you're drowning in debt and don't know how to get out, or you're struggling to find the right insurance for you and your family. Perhaps you're just thinking about retirement and worried that you don't have enough saved up. Fear no more, because help is here. United Agency is a financial firm who can help you put a plan in place for all of those things. And the best part is completely complimentary. That's right, we want to help you get ahead financially and in life, because you deserve it. Whether you need help with budgeting, saving, tracking your money, finding the right insurance policies, planning your kids' education, building wealth, retirement planning, or estate planning to protect your assets and your family's future, our team is here to help you. Click the link in the show notes to schedule a one-on-one and take control of your finances and your future. Keep on listening. We'll see you soon.
Right? So you think of every year we get these raises of maybe what's the standard?
Quarter?
I don't know what a standard raise is.
$0.25 to $1.
No, but percentage wise, what is that?
1 to 4%.
1 to 4%. So 1 to 4% we're getting raises, right? But inflation is going up by 24.6%. So doing the math, right? For everything that cost $1 is now $1.25. So everything that used to cost $10 is now $12.50. But every time, now looking at dollar for dollar, your dollar and your raise is only $1.04, right? 1 to 4% raise, you said?
Yeah.
So on the high side, you're getting $1.04, but the thing that used to cost $1 is now $1.25. So the extra 11 cents, 21 cents.
It's still not enough.
Is not enough. It's definitely not enough. So how do we beat that? How do we beat inflation?
Gotta hustle? No.
How do we beat inflation?
We gotta build businesses.
That's one way.
Not worrying about getting on that W-2. Let's build a business and let's build our economy out ourselves with our community.
Mm-hmm. So definitely building a business is one. 2 is looking how we're investing our money, right? Different ways to invest so we can beat this inflation, making sure that we are, spending our dollars correctly and saving, putting back in our communities.
That's the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't.
Yep. And then, and that's on the macro. But looking at the micro, we want to look at, what are we really spending on? Are we just going to the same supermarkets? Very simple, right? Mm-hmm. Going to the same supermarkets every day where the inflation is caused, or we're actually looking around for deals and bargain shopping. That's another thing, right? It's not going to take away the inflation, but now we're really paying attention to the dollar. Cause
being smarter with your money.
Mm-hmm. Are we looking at how much we're spending on gas, going to the cheaper gas station, right? Do we really need to look at the new cars versus a used car right now, right? Yeah. And looking at your assets versus your liabilities, right? And what's causing you liabilities, right? And I'm not saying don't spend on yourself, right? And be careful, because we all deserve that and everything. But just really, now we have to pay attention to the dollars.
And we have to keep more of it versus just dishing it out.
Mm-hmm. Definitely keep more of it, because that's where, right, when we sit with people, the tracking, the budgeting, the spending, the emotional spending really comes into play as well. Because a lot of us, when we sit with people, a lot of us have a lot more money than we think.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. When the first time I ever did the tracking, it's just how do I have this much money? I don't see it in my account, so where is it? And that's the $1 million question.
Yeah, so definitely we got to pay attention to this inflation. We got to think of the different investment accounts. Like even now, what they're promoting out there is the high yield high yield savings accounts, right? So that's a place to put your money as well. Stock markets, not that we promote it too much, but the stock market, right? If you do the S&P like index, for example, and really looking at the dividends for the different companies. Right? Some of them out there, it's rare, but some of them are giving like 10% dividends. So if you're looking at the rule of 72, in 7 years, you'll double your money.
That research.
Right? So definitely research with that. What else is giving good returns? The index, any index type of product is giving some good returns on the Roth IRAs over the 401ks, the cash accumulation insurances, the annuities, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago as well. Just looking at this return and not not just putting the money under the mattress and expecting it to grow.
Afraid of the banks.
Right? We definitely know people are afraid of the banks.
Right, because people tell us they're afraid of the banks, but you got to remember your money is insured in the bank. So technically you're better off in the bank. Because if something happened to your apartment, that money is not insured because it was in your apartment. Exactly.
And good, you know what? Good point. And I want to say this because I've been having a couple of conversations around this that people are scared of the banks. And I was sitting with somebody and they had literally 5-6 bank accounts, right? And they was like, "Oh, I'm scared to lose my money. You seen what happened in California with those 4 banks." I want to tell you, everybody, and please listen to this. Each bank each bank account, and bank is insured by the FDIC, which means your money is protected up to $250,000, right? So because
unless you got $300,000 in the bank, I don't really think you need to worry right now.
Exactly. So for those who have $250,000 or less, your money is protected. Now, if you do have more than that, then we look at
multiple bank accounts,
multiple things, like go get 2 bank accounts, so this way each account is secured, because that's what the wealthy and rich people do. Because I understand, yes, we have to copy what the rich and the wealth people are doing, but you also have to find out why they're doing it.
You have to understand. So what that means is if you have $250 or less in your account, you can put it in there. If the bank goes down, you are guaranteed to get that money back because they are insured.
Exactly. So you have no worries. Anything else you want to touch on the inflation part?
Nope.
All right, go ahead. She's going to read the next segment, guys.
We haven't read like this since school, so just bear with us.
So that means you need to start reading more.
No, I read. I just don't read out loud.
Oh, got it.
It's different.
You got such a pleasant voice, though, since people have been saying on the podcast.
Whatever. What is the American dream? Like that?
Yeah, exactly. Just like that.
If you make it here, you make it anywhere. Should it truly be that hard? While I'm enticed to hustle hard and prove the point that I'm fully capable of adulting, I would not live my life on survival mode. The work hard mentality was instilled in us when our ancestors were forced to perform labor for the right to be alive and not for pay. Yes, I'm taking it there.
I want you to stop right there. So now this goes back what we said in the beginning about the trauma and everything, right? Like that, right? We copy our parents copy their parents, and so forth, and so on, and we look at that whole labor mindset like, if I'm not working, I'm not doing anything.
Right. Regardless of what you're getting paid or how you're getting paid.
Like, there's people out there making 100K plus, 200K plus, but once they have one little ounce of downtime, you feel like you're not doing something. And that mindset, right? That survival mode is like, I need to work. I need to keep going. And you know what happens? Our life expectancy reduces because we're working so hard for mainly other people that we're not taking care of ourselves.
Yeah, people doing 3-4 jobs thinking, no, I need to get another job. Like, I need to do this. You do not need to have a whole bunch of jobs in order to be satisfied in life. Because if those jobs are not doing it, that means you need to find a different avenue to get the money that you need to do what you want to do. So going back to our ancestors, going through our parents, we see them struggle. We see them going through all of their ups and downs, and we think that this is how we have to do it now. That's how they had to do it before. Then you got to think about it. Did it really work for them? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. That doesn't mean you have to do it just because they did it. You have to do what's best for you and for now. That doesn't mean that it's everything that your family did. You have to do things differently.
And then just looking at Angie poses the question, like, what is the American dream? And when I first read this, like, I had to really think about it, and then I had to think about it again and again and again. And my first thought was like, why do people come to America? Right? The common phrase of, oh, it's the American dream. And just simply put, right? Because I was overcomplicating this, but simply put is just, there's opportunity here where there is not opportunity anywhere else. And the opportunities are endless.
But that's the problem, because we that live here don't look at the opportunities, don't realize the opportunities.
Exactly. So those people let the American dream die within themselves. Or, what we like to say, dream aside. And other people kill the dreams within those people.
All right,
And
definitely.
They saw an opportunity, created an opportunity. Somebody told you can't, and then it died. Or other people just feel as they can't create opportunities, which is not true. Like, because we are born to create, and that's how everything exists around you, from studios to microwaves, things that are invented that once did not exist, that we are born to create. And there's a lot of opportunity, even if it's to copy somebody's idea and do it even better, right? You can be a copycat as long as you're copying the right cat, right? So there's room and there's opportunity. Anything else you want to say on that?
And the whole idea of the American dream, because, you know, it's the 2.5 kids, the white picket fence, and all these opportunities, but people are not going back to what's true for themselves, and they're going off of a dream that someone is telling them. So think about when you're a child, or just when you're just growing up, what are you passionate about? What excites you? What do you love doing? And then think about how many times you told someone else, when I get old, I'm going to do that. And them telling them, no, you can't. No, you're supposed to go to school and do this. You have to get this kind of degree. You have to work at this kind of job. You make sure you get this city job. Like, people are telling you what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing, versus you having a dream, having a vision for your life, and exploring it. You are building opportunities just for the fact that you have that in your head, that you want to do that. You already started creating your own opportunities. And then people are just so stuck in, well, I was told I can't do this. I was told that this is what my family's supposed to do. You have the ability to do what you want and the dream, and to go out and make your own world if you want. Like with the beat. Like, I don't know how to explain it even further. Like, you have the ability to do it, and just do it, and stop worrying about everyone telling you can't do it. Like, you have to do it, because those people are not you. They choose not to do it, that's fine. But you are different. You are unique. Go out and do it.
Yep. And to touch on that point too, like, we're in the 21st century, right? Which, I mean, that explains itself versus back in like medieval time where you were stuck in that one way. So if like your family were blacksmiths, you were the next blacksmiths. If your family was a farmer, you was going to be the next farmer, right? 9 times out of 10. If you was born into royalty, unless they exiled you, you were in that royalty, and that was the way it was. And that was their own system and systematically that. But now we have broke free out of that, and then that just goes back to you, like, and for those who listening, we are in New York, so there's nothing wrong with being a trade person, skilled laborers and everything, but double dip, do that, and find ways to make more money or do what makes you happy.
Right,
and do what makes you happy. I really want to say that,
think
because
about ourselves.
Sometimes it's not about the money.
It's not, like, looking at ourselves. Like, we were both told you had to do things a certain way. Because I know I was. You have to go to college. You have to do this. You have to get this degree. You have to work in this kind of job. And then you can't do anything else. This is what you're supposed to do. You need to have that stability. And I'm just like, no. I'm actually enjoying doing something else. And I want to explore that. Yeah, but that's not stable. You shouldn't be doing that. And it's just like, no, but I want to do this. This is what I'm feeling. It excites me. I feel like I'm really living and doing something else. And people are just like, well, if you don't get this master's degree, then you're not going to be able to walk into those rooms. I've already walked in those rooms. Mm-hmm. So to tell me that I can't do something because I didn't get a certain degree and I'm not living a certain way, when I've already been there, just like, no. Keep doing. Do what you got to do. And it'll work out.
You don't need a master's to step into those $1 million rooms.
Because we've been there. Right.
Amen. Chilling, rubbing shoulders with people like EYL, Don Peoples, Ash Cash, Jeremy Anderson, Inky Johnson, just to name a few. Don Peoples, Eric Thomas, Rob Wilson, my cousin. And the list goes on.
But yeah. All right, ready for my
That's it for the American Dream portion, right?
Yeah, because I got some more coming.
All right, go ahead.
Systematic oppression and financial disparities are not only influenced, but has increased with the burnout mentality. The idealization of hustling hard seems erratic when essentially it is inclusive of working for no pay. Having multiple jobs to sustain the essentials is simply hustling backwards. When I think of the phrase hustle hard, my body tenses up. I will not.
I think we pretty much touched that.
Right.
Having multiple jobs to sustain the essential is simply hustling backwards. Exactly.
That's why everybody's always tired and stressed out because they're overdoing it on something that they don't love, that they're not really making much from.
And that's again, systematically oppressed. That shouldn't be the system. I need 2 or 3 jobs to sustain a living. And again, I think we could skip that part, but that just goes back to what we were talking about with inflation, where you're putting their money, how you're living. Are you living within your means, right? Not having to work 2 to 3 jobs to sustain
and still be paycheck to paycheck.
Yep, and live in a 1-bedroom apartment, paying $3,000 and living a lifestyle that's not congruent with you. So definitely. So go ahead, read the next one.
The next part, I feel this one right here. For decades, the term was used to motivate us to obtain a luxurious retirement. Who wants to be lit in their 60s? I like to think that my 60s, I'll be somewhere relaxing. Do we hustle hard in our 20s and 30s to then relax in our 60s? When do we have time to live? When the life expectancy for the average American is 77.
It's crazy.
Like,
it's crazy because, like, so if the life expectancy is 77, the retirement age, depending on when you was born. Right?
Yeah.
Because some people are 59 and a half, and then the other, I think, is like 63 and a half. So then that means you have, looking at the 59 and a half, you have only 17, maybe 18 years to enjoy your 40, 50 years of working. Because most of us, right, work at 18, some younger. So you're thinking 59 and a half, that's 50. Oh, I can't count, right? 50? Is it 50? Oh, I can't count. 40?
Like 40.
I can't count. I know, financial guy, right? This is what I calculate. So 40 years later, 40 years later, working for 40 years to only live for 17.
It bothers me because I've heard people tell other kids, like, just, or your young years, just do whatever you want. Don't worry about focus on any career. Just do whatever you want. Live life. And then when you get older, then you can enjoy it. Then when you get older, like, work really hard. When you get older, then it'd be worth it. Like, just do all the work now, and then don't worry about doing that. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why are you putting so much pressure on them to do all this work, live crazy? And it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. Like, and when they get older, they don't have the chance to do anything.
Yeah. And then I know she says, do we hustle hard in our 20s and 30s, then relax in our 60s? But the challenge to that, right? And this is like, not that Angie said anything wrong, but just to the masses, is that if you hustle hard in your 20s and 30s, what that really can look like, not should, but can look like, is that for 7 to 10 years, while you have the energy within you, put all your effort in making all the money you can, investing right, seeking the knowledge, starting a business, running the systems to own a business and let it run itself. So then you switch to not just a business owner to an investor, so your money works for yourself. So this way, if you just focus on that, head down 7 to 10 years, you may skip a vacation or two, but now when you're hitting your strides and you're 35, 40, now you have the 20 plus years to really live and still have that energy.
Yeah, but I don't think she was against that. I think she was saying what people are told. In your 20s and 30s, you have to do all this work for you to only be able to benefit from it in your 60s, versus you doing all this work and then those 10 years, and then you could benefit it in your 30s and 40s when you still have the energy. She's saying that most people are taught, do all this work, and then when you retire, then you can enjoy life, when it shouldn't be when you retire.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to retire before 40.
And that's why I was stretching it, because she said 20, 30s, live in your 60s. But I was inputting, like, work 20 to 30, 7 to 10 years, putting a time frame to it. So this way you can really retire when you're 40 and live out the rest.
And the most important part of this is not working hard on something that you don't enjoy. It has to be something you're passionate about and something that you actually enjoy, so you could put all that work into it, and then you'll be able to benefit. Because if you're not enjoying it, you're putting the work in for nothing, because you're not really going to get much out of it.
So really, like, I don't know how old you are listening to this, but find it fast. Like, I'm challenging you to find it now and find it fast, and do everything you can to learn about it, get mentors, get coaches, get the right team in place to accelerate where you want to go.
So this is how I was told to figure out what you're passionate about. If all money was not a factor, and time was not a factor, what would you do that you would truly enjoy?
Bowling. Oh, you wasn't asking me.
I wasn't asking.
Oh, my bad.
But that's how you figure out what you're passionate about. Money's not a factor. Time is not a factor. What can you do on your daily basis that you truly enjoy? That is what you're passionate about, and then that's what you need to focus on. And like you said, find right people, the coaches, the development portion, so you can learn more about it.
Got it. So yeah, guys, let's not retire in our 60s. Let's retire in our 40s. And if you're a little late, let's take the next 5 years to retire.
Right.
And if you're a little late, let's figure it out right now.
Right now.
So moving on. She further says, living in the now, learning to say no, finding streams of income that don't require physical exhaustion and mental blowout is especially important for the minorities in America. I think that's just
finding what you're passionate about.
Finding what you're passionate about. And
if you love it, you don't get tired
exhaustion
from it.
And mental blow. Mm-hmm.
If it's something that you really love, you can do it all day and every day and won't be tired of it because it's something you love. So you have to find that, because you just doing your regular 9 to 5. You don't love that.
Some people don't. Yeah.
Most people don't.
Some people. I'm saying some. Some people don't. So it's really just finding that, and I think that's self-explanatory, right? Because we work the 9 to 5, we dislike our 9 to 5, we're complaining about our 9 to 5, and it's just more of a burden than a joy. And then the only reason why we keep on working the 9 to 5 is because
I feel like we have to.
We have to, but and also like the quote says, like they pay us enough not to quit, and they pay us a little under not to let go, or the other way, right? I forgot the quote now. It was
just confused me.
Right? So with jobs,
they pay you enough not to quit.
Mm-hmm.
But they give, no, you just leave it like that. They pay you enough not to quit.
Yeah, they pay you just enough not to quit. They pay you enough not to quit. So then Angie further says, according to an article by the New York Times, the full-time black worker earned 20% less than a typical full-time white worker. This gap is reported to be worse than in the 70s. Almost 40 years later, we are struggling to maintain a work-life balance that was never designed for us in the first place. So why not redefine it? Black people have to work twice as good to get half as far. Our forever First Lady, Michelle Obama. That's deep right now. As the black and brown community, representing the black and brown community, like, we do got to work harder. We do got to work harder than, and, you know, and it's not, I'm not blaming anybody who's Caucasian, white, or anything like that, but, you know, how, I guess you want to say America was built, essentially, and us just changing things, right, gradually, and the fact that things are worse than the 70s is crazy.
You know, us females have to work 3 times as hard.
And I feel so sorry for y'all.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for y'all.
And that's why you get a lot of women in power with this
alpha female. It's the alpha female.
No, not even what they get stuck on the power, and they don't know how to handle it correctly because they work so hard for it. And when they get it, they don't know how to handle it now because they weren't taught how to handle it.
In what way?
So I've met a lot of females who've gotten into powerful positions and became real nasty to other females because they felt like they were the only ones who deserved it. Because as a female, being able to have some kind of power was a big deal. So when they get it, they become more catty than anything. It's just like, oh, I'm better than everybody now. Now you don't even have a chance to get to my level. And instead of, oh, let me uplift you, let me show you how I did it, it becomes, this is for me and only me only. I had to fight so hard for it, so I'm not even going to let you close to me. And I've seen a lot of women act like that, and it's because of the power. And it's because it's so hard to get there. So when they get there, instead of having this community mindset and let me bring my other people up with me, and let me bring other females and empower them, it's, I work so hard, so it's only for me, and then I don't care about anybody else now.
Do you love delicious drinks that are made with all natural ingredients? Then you're gonna want to try Coco Vida Coquito, the Puerto Rican version of an eggnog that tastes even better. This delicious drink is made with fresh ground cinnamon, pure vanilla, and coconut, and it's perfect for any occasion. Whether you're having a party with friends or just want to relax at home, Coco Vida Coquito will give you that holiday feeling all year round. You can get your hands on a bottle right now by going to CocoVitaCoquito.com and by entering the promo code KBGB to receive 10% off your next purchase. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Coco Vida Coquito's Instagram page, give them a follow to stay up to date on all their latest deals and events. And don't forget to order your bottle today and taste the richness and the love of Puerto Rico in every sip. That's crazy.
I've seen so many women switch up as soon as they get power.
Because the woman in power I've seen, and maybe it's different from that one, so we'll say type 2, type B, is that I've seen the alpha female, right? And but I've seen it where she literally like looked down on men because she's worked so hard.
That's from trauma. That's from the trauma that she received from men and why she's like that.
And she's like, and some alpha females too are scared that another man's going to take their position because of that. So they're so like attacking.
And you see a lot of the women power are nasty versus being human. Like they lose that aspect because they feel like they have to be that way.
That's interesting. And I will say, right, to bring it on a positive note, that females do it better, essentially.
Yes, of course.
Right? And statistically, right, I don't know if it's in here, but statistically, women do better than men in some positions, and they do deserve just as much pay as men. And I'm not saying that because you sit right next to me, I promise.
But it's like they work harder, so they feel that they have to treat people different. And it's not everybody. It's not everyone. But I'm just saying there are some situations that I've seen that because they feel like, again, like you said, the men, someone's going to come after their title, so they have to be extra and they have to do all this extraness that they don't need to necessarily. It's just, that's what they were taught to do because of the trauma that they had to endure. Got it.
Females, be a little nicer, eh? Especially the ones in power.
No. Be nicer to females so that they don't have to have that trauma.
So you
can't tell females to be nicer if they were taught. You cannot tell somebody.
Wait, repeat that. Females in power to be nicer to females.
Be nicer to people to females. Period. So that they don't have to hold on to that trauma from the way they were treated, and they don't grow into being those monsters, them power monsters, because all of that is just from trauma.
Yeah, but
all that is from how people are treating them. So
but if I'm talking about the other side of it, for the females in power to be nice.
But remember, they got there for a reason. They got there because of the way people are treating them. So instead of telling them, "Oh no, you had to enjoy this. Now you got to be nice to everybody," stop treating people a certain way. Stop being disrespectful to people because they're in power. Let their resume play. Instead of versus, oh, you have to work harder because you're female. No, if I did my due diligence, don't tell me I have to work harder just because I'm a female. People treat them a certain way, and that's why they react that way. So if people stop treating them a certain way, they want to react that way.
But I also think
it is both, but you have to start somewhere.
Well, we can't change everybody right away.
No, I'm just saying. That's like saying you're attacking the victim because the victim's now angry.
I'm not attacking the victim. But what I'm saying also is that...
He gonna straighten it out.
Listen. We gonna straighten this out right now in this segment of Straighten It Out. Listen, right? Now we're off the book, guys. Give us a moment and argue with us. Or not argue, I'm sorry. Just have a healthy debate. You're saying, right, let's stop treating women, period. And stop, let me put in my words, like treating them different than the men, right? And treat them by their resume, what they accomplished and everything.
Right.
Agree with that.
Right.
But now I'm thinking on the other end, like the women who made it and have the power. I understand it's trauma, but now you have to change the narrative and stop being mean, looking down.
They need to fix themselves.
Yes.
They need to work on themselves, because I say you can't start with them. You have to start with people who are treating the people that way. Right? You can't start with the people who've been traumatized. You have to start with the people who are doing it. So if society is treating women a certain way, then society needs to start working on that. Because you have to start that way. You can't start with the victim. And I'm going to call them a victim in this situation. You can't start with the victim. You have to start with how people are treating them first. And then you have to go into helping them fix that trauma and recover and heal. But in order for that to happen, I know it's a two-bladed sword. It is.
Because we can't control others people's action. Yes, we could talk about it, fight, whatever we need to do to change society. And I'm behind that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But also, wait, because this is I straightening it out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, we take people up this mindset, right? And one thing behind this mindset we're always talking about is that we can't control other people's actions and how they think, but we can control our actions and think.
Right.
And I understand that, and I'm not 100% agreeing, but I'm not 100% disagreeing that the woman in power now, right? I'm saying the woman in power may have to be aggressive and trample because of this.
Mm-hmm.
But now you can, if the woman did not develop on her way up, then she has to develop on the way back down.
I agree
with herself and other people.
I just don't like the phrase or the statement you said on stop being mean to people now. That's not that to me. That's the wrong way to go, because they need to work on themselves.
I'm saying that for the woman in power.
Yeah, you can't. Don't tell them not to be mean to people.
But she's in
because
power,
she has to.
She
has
has
to
the
fix
power
herself
to
first.
Change things, though.
She has to fix herself first.
But then you're telling society to stop attacking her when it's quicker to change her.
That's what I'm saying. She has to work on herself first. Then she would naturally change the way she reacts to people.
I just hope that.
Because you can't just tell somebody to stop being mean if them themselves are still screwed up on the inside. They have to work. Instead of stop being mean, women, you need to develop yourself. Go through your therapy or whatever it is that you got to do. Work on yourself first.
But you hold people.
You have to hold people accountable for their own actions.
All right, so look, we're saying the same thing, but we're talking about two different personas.
Yes.
The persona you're talking about is the woman at the bottom coming up, right? Because especially because the woman at the bottom, right, wherever the bottom is, I'm not saying where that is, but wherever the bottom is that society has to change, right? But that is such a huge net versus the micro of her. But now I'm talking about, so I feel like you're talking about that woman, and I'm talking about the woman who's in power now. Like, if she didn't develop up, I understand that she has to work on herself, but because she's in power, a lot of things are going to go on, and at the same point of developing herself, she has to try not to continue to talk down to people. Which I know in the beginning it will, but it's gotta switch faster than later, because then the stereotype will continue to give the women the stigmatism of they can't handle this.
I have so much more to say about it, but I'm gonna let it
go. We can continue the conversation, like, because I'm not disagreeing with you, but you struggling. Listen, guys, let me tell you, look, before we continue, we got our producer Tiny, who just wants
struggling right now,
struggling and wanted to jump the conversation. So it's just like hilarious because we're staying. But you know what? We're gonna give you some behind the scenes after this conversation of the podcast. All right. So this way I'm
gonna let it go for right now. We elaborate later.
Because me and Jamila about to fight.
So after
But
the podcast session, you
the
guys
after
will see that
podcast.
part.
We're gonna probably give like a part 3 of this whole session. So don't worry. But let us get through this. See,
Continue.
this is the love we go through on this podcast, guys. For serious conversation
It gets
and
deep.
for play, it gets deep. Look, now I gotta find what place I'm at.
What influences this mentality?
All right. Continue the reading, guys, so we can get through this. We're almost done. All right. What influences this mentality? Look, you see what influenced this mentality?
Because y'all need to stop. No, just playing. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Now it's not. Now it's y'all, right? Y'all, she means men, guys. You hear this?
Well.
Well, hey, let me get my reading on. We're back in 5th grade, okay? Paragraph. All right. What influences this mentality? Getting back to the reading, guys. Our grandparents and some of our parents did not have the choices that are presented to us. Therefore, to protect us, they unknowingly created a fear in many of us. Some of them advised us that we sustain that corporate job, quote unquote, code switch, and at times stay in an environment in which no longer serves us, making us miserable in the long run. The feeling of guilt is normal. Do not let it consume you. This is super easy to pick away. Super easy. And I'm going to use, Grandma, if you listen to this, I'm sorry. I know she just started listening to podcasts. But my grandma, and you know what? Actually, you said this in the beginning, right? The normal thing that's said is that get a good job, go to college, get good grades, work 40 years, put yourself in a 401k, and retire. So that may have worked maybe 40, 50 years
Oh, wait,
ago.
you missed one part. You don't need to love your job. Just work and get that check.
Oh, yeah.
Just stay there because it's stable.
So my grandmother used to tell me this all the time, and I believed it. If I didn't have a good job that was to her standards, my mom's standards, I felt guilty, and I looked for that job, and I have gotten that good job. And
Did you love it?
50-50. It was 50-50. And it was, I say more on the 75 love it, 25 didn't. Just to know that after making the millions of dollars over the years, they just laid me off. Because they got everything they just needed from me to ride out for the next 20 years. I think that's what they told me, 15, 20 years, but whatever.
That job security.
So you don't be nice to your grandmother. Be nice to your family, right? But this goes back to the same conversation that somebody had told me in my family, like, do you still want to do this under the table? I mean, do you want to really bring the company, official, not just do it under the table because that have worked for them, right? In the lifestyle that they have lived. But we're breaking that generational curse, and we can't pass down under the table. We cannot pass down these unmarked dollars, right? And we can't pass down the money under the mattress. So now, being in the 21st century where kids that are 5, 6 years old making millions of dollars on YouTube is not what my grandmother had wanted like 40 years ago when it didn't exist. So don't feel guilty, guys. I mean, I think that was an easy touch. Do you want to say anything before I go further?
It's okay to not love that corporate job and to go look for what you really love. And I tell myself, because we're all told the same thing, just you got to do this, you got to do that. But I tell myself, be mindful of who you listen to. People are telling you should do this job because this is what's going to make you happy in your life, or this is where you're going to get the money. But look at who's telling you that. Like, is the person telling you that is the rich uncle? Are they living their best life? Are they happy? Do they have all the money they need? Are they living and doing their dreams? And are they living in their passion? If they're not, then maybe that's not the person to listen to. And there's no offense to anybody in your family, but that's not the person to listen to, because that's not the life. Because you listening to them means you're going to have their life.
Taking advice from the people you wouldn't exchange your life with.
Right.
That's really what it boils down to.
Who we listen to, people who are well off, higher than us.
Before you take their advice, ask yourself this: would I exchange my life with them? And if the answer is yes, take advice. And even if you would exchange your life with them, you know, depending on where they're at in their life, if it's a yes, still take in as much information and go find more information. And,
Correct.
And make the best out of everything, right? Actually, who says this? It was Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn once said, he was like, listen, take 5 books on the same idea, on the same concept. Read all 5 of these books. He said there's things you're going to agree with and there's things you're going to disagree with.
Right.
And you take all the things from these 5 books that you agree with, and then you make your own path.
Right. Success leaves clues. So you have to look to those people who have that, what you call success.
Exactly. Anything else before I move on?
Good.
To my 5th grade reading?
Okay, because I'm on 4th grade right now, so good.
Oh, I'm advanced. That's that AD reading.
just read.
Moving forward, social media has also created a narrative that if you work extremely hard at your 9 to 5, pick up a weekend shift and start a small business, you will reach success. What social media and your nana did not tell you is the negative effects that it has on your mental health. Someone must tell quote-unquote entrepreneur Twitter that starting an LLC does not magically get you the 6 figures overnight. And if it does, you have to be equipped with the tools that are needed to maintain that cash flow. Therefore, leading me to the conclusion that the biggest influence should only be within yourself. Man, that's a lot to unpack. And this is my favorite part. Who wants to start? Because I already see it in your eyes glimmering.
It's 2 things. That instant gratification. People think that they see things on social media and they think that's their real life. And that, I'm going to start this business and then overnight I'm a millionaire. That's not how life works. They're just showing you their end product. They're not showing you that journey and the process that it took to get there. So knowing that you starting a business, there is no instant gratification. It might come years from now, and you have to accept that. You have to understand that. The other part, before I let you go on, the other part I wanted to talk about is where she mentioned to maintain that cash flow, you have to be equipped with the right tools. If you don't understand how to manage a financial foundation, if you don't understand financial literacy, you getting all that money from your business is going to be blown. You're going to lose all that money, and then you're going to be starting off from the bottom once again. You have to be equipped with the tools. You have to learn financial literacy. You have to understand your money. You have to understand how everything works in financially in order to get to that level. Because if not, there's no point in you being there. Okay.
Amen. Nope, you stole all my answers. I don't want to say it.
Okay, say it in your way, in your words.
So first thing. Negative effects that it has on your mental health. This really sums up a lot of what Angie was saying in the past, is that we tend to overwork ourselves and think we're reaching closer to our goals or financial goals or business or what other people wanted. But we really gotta take care of ourselves throughout this whole process. You working 60, 70 hours a week does not benefit you and I'll say all the time, because some weeks maybe we do 70 hours, right? I'm guilty of it. We are guilty of it as well. But this really, and here goes the hack right here, is that you schedule time for yourself.
That's self-care.
Right? So we always confuse being productive with being busy, and being busy being productive, right? But it doesn't take 8 hours to check emails. It doesn't take 4 hours to research the best prices. We really need to prioritize our health within this 7-day week, 168 hours, Monday through Sunday, and have time for yourself.
Yep.
So you having a 9 to 5, picking up a weekend shift, having a small business, how are you scheduling your time within that? Because 9 to 5, Monday through Friday is already 40 hours. Like, how much does your small business really need? And I'm not combating not having these 3 things, but how long should it be for is another thing as well, putting that strain on your body and mental health. So maybe you are starting a business, or maybe you do need a vacation, so maybe you do need to work extra weekends for the next month or 2, but don't make it a lifestyle.
Right.
That's a big thing.
Have a goal in mind.
Uncover. Yep. And the second thing is, and this is the emotional part for when we do business development and financial coaching, is that you starting an LLC doesn't make you a 6-figure business. When we coach people on the business side, everybody's first question is, how you start an LLC? Do I need a trademark? Do I need a logo? And
do you even understand what that means?
And I combat that and tell people no, and they go crazy, right? Oh, I don't want nobody to steal my idea, blah blah blah. And again, emotional people, some are emotional people, but I tell people, listen, your idea is not that great that somebody's gonna steal it and blow it up,
dang.
Right? So sometimes you gotta bring, love like a mother, discipline like a father. So I gotta love them, but then also I'm trying to cut the fluff and be real with them as well.
Always have to be real with people.
Exactly. So then they go, right? And this is where I feel Angie was alluding to with the whole, and if it does, you have to be equipped with the tools to maintain that cash flow. Is that step 1? You got to market and sell and make money. That's number 1, because there's so many concepts that will and won't work, and you got to figure that out to grow your business, right? When you go to Shark Tank, they want to know how much money you making. They want to know the LLC numbers. Comes later.
Yeah.
Right? They want to know how much money you making, and when you start making, say, a consistent cash flow for a year or 2 of like 40 to 50,000 minimum, right? If you hit $1 million in the first year, great. But for the most people we talk to, like, they're not even hitting 10 to 20,000 in their first year. So let's get you up to 40,000 and what that does look like. And then if you was to, right, make that $1 million or that 6 figures, right? Let's say 6 figures. You always need a system in place. That's everything you do needs a system. Everything you do. If you have a t-shirt company, how much the shirt costs, how fast am I going to get it, how is it processed, how is it paid, how is it going from the business to the consumer, and then what is the rinse and repeat process. Because on the other side of that, how I want you to look at it is, if you want to own a business, somebody from the outside needs to come in and be able to run the business without you telling somebody that. And if they cannot do that, then your business does not have a system. And a great example is McDonald's. Right. In the McDonald's University. Every McDonald's you go to, the fries are to the left, the burgers in the back, and the shake the shake machine that's always broken is to the right, right? You already know that is the same system wherever you go. The register is on the right, the pickup window's on the left. It doesn't matter what McDonald's, whether it's in the hood, the suburbs, the city, whether it's just an in and out or you could sit down.
Yeah, I don't need to know anything about cooking, anything about food for me to run McDonald's.
So now that's why a $1 billion company is ran by 18-year-olds.
Right.
Because there is a system in place.
Yep.
So you gotta have that system in place to maintain your business at all costs. That's what you need before you get an LLC. And if you really feel like you need an LLC, it takes you one day to get a LLC, but that's not what makes you money.
Yeah, we're not trying to make people self-employed. We're trying to get people to be business owners.
Exactly, and business mindset. And
business owners have a system.
Exactly. And I will say this too, right? Just to be transparent with people. So we've been in business with Coquito for 8 years, 2015. Yep, 8 years, right? Or going on 8 years. I did not have an LLC until 2 years ago. So 6 years in of having Coco Vida Coquito, I did not have an LLC. And I ran my business like that, finding systems.
There wasn't a need for it.
Making money. It wasn't a need until I was forced to it when I started like looking at grants and getting help from the Small Business Association and different projects I'm working on. They said, we can't help you because you're not a business. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to come back in 3 months, even though the LLC took a day, literally. I'll come back in 3 months and then we can rework this out. And then you start, that whole process. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago too, my trademark, which I'm on the cusp of getting and finalizing. I started months after I got my LLC because now like we're looking at getting into stores and stuff. And the first thing they asked me was, well, do you have a business? Oh yeah, check. Yeah, before you even start printing anything, you need a trademark. And I'm like, sheesh. Then I had to go do the trademark. But guess what, guys? 8 years ago, I started in my home and I started my sales process of making money. And that's what I want you to focus on.
Yeah, because people say, I need a business and I need to start my LLC. I need a trademark. You haven't sold anything yet. How about you start with that first?
Word. Start putting it out there, right? Start putting it out there. So just touching on that. And then we're going to finish this off with some things that Angie really deep dove and said. And to finish off this podcast and just really deep dive on what she had said to end this.
So these are the 5 ways. She said this is how you can change. So number 1, acknowledge where you are in life, how far you come, and where you want to go. Align your future goals with your yearly goal. Number 2, take a vacation, staycation, vacation, at least yearly. This helps reset your mind. It is okay to disconnect from the hustle because 9 times out of 10, it will be there when you return. Number 3, while maintaining your residual income, also maintain a passion. Often, when we pour into our passion, it naturally becomes a secondary form of income. When this does happen, lay off of the expectations. Expectations differ from goals. Number 4, ask yourself, what is a good life for me? Ultimately, define success in your lenses. And lastly, number 5, be confident in yourself. Always remember, when they go low, we go high.
Amen. Amen. And I think she laid this out like pretty perfectly. This really like sums up everything we was talking about, like just dissecting, abandoning the hustle. Is there any points you want to expand on?
Because we kind of talked about all of this already, and she just summed it up. Focusing on your passion, and like you said, if it's something that you love, eventually you can actually build from that and build a business from that. And she says that. Take time for yourself. That's taking a vacation. It's okay to take a break and just focus on yourself. And understanding your goals and your vision. What does success mean to you? Because it means different things to different people. But if you don't know what it means to you, you would never get there. And just be confident in yourself.
And this word, as you was saying that, this word really came to mind is be unapologetic. Like really be unapologetic. If you're taking care of yourself, if you need a vacation, you need to disconnect. Like, don't give anybody any explanation on why you need this mental. Maybe you need to talk to somebody, right? I do encourage that. But I'll say be unapologetic. Take that vacation. Like, don't wait for somebody else. Like, to start that business, to take that vacation, take a mental health day, to talk to somebody, to expand your horizon. Like, a lot of us really wait for permission for other people, and I've been super victim of this, of just needing somebody's permission to do something or get somebody to agree with me, when I have to realize, and I want you guys listening to this, realize that God gave you that dream and that vision for you, and you have to go out to do it. You can't expect other people to do that for you.
They're not going to see it the same way you see it.
They're not going to see it. And like I said, it's your vision.
It's your life. Do it how you want it.
And you know, we asked Angie this, so now I want to ask you this. Don't be looking down. Put you on your spot. So, what is a good life for you? Ultimately define success in your lens. So we asked Angie that. So now I'm asking you that. What's a good life for you? Ultimately define success in your lens. In your lens, your eyes. No money is an objective. No place is an objective. Like, what is it?
Good life for me. So I want to really deep dive into helping people. And it goes beyond than just telling people what's a good idea for them. I want to really dig deep into people, support them in different aspects of their lives, and guide them. Because I felt like as growing up, we didn't have that. So I want to, like, full time be like not a guidance for people, but full time just be there for people and do things for people versus going to a 9-to-5 and making money for someone else. I want to spend all my time doing what I enjoy doing, regardless of the money that's coming in. I want to really focus on that and just being an avenue for people, being that resource for people, being that support system for people. So I enjoy that, and I enjoy seeing people's reactions. So I want to continue doing that and showing people how to do that as well. So when I'm able to do that on a regular basis, I will feel like I'm successful.
Awesome. Is that why you took your bachelor's in psychology? Oh, I got it. Right? That's what it was?
Yeah.
And you almost had your master's in, what was it? Organizational psychology?
Industrial and organizational psychology.
She's a psychologist,
so,
guys.
I like psychology because I like the mindset of people, and I like being able to talk to people and help them figure out what's going on with them. So in helping people, you figure that out. You help people decode themselves and find their happiness. So learning for myself and for other people and guiding them. So that's why I stayed in psychology. I enjoyed mine.
Is that why you be picking on me?
Of course.
Awesome. I guess that's really abandoning the hustle, but just recreating this mindset around what the hustle is.
Yep.
And
You don't gotta work so hard every day on something that you don't love.
I really gotta ask Angie, like why abandon it? But I guess just reading myself thought and perception of it is that we're abandoning the old definition of hustle.
Yes, that's what I get from it.
Really recreating like what
that
this
looks
hustle,
like.
what this new hustle.
Not even
for
a
the
hustle,
20.
just what this new lifestyle is. Because we're not hustling anymore. We're living our lives out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So make sure you check out this Bronx Girl Writes.
Yep, we're gonna have
we
all her
her
information again in the show notes. We love you all. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and please share this with somebody you like, love, and want to grow with us, because if you know better,
you grow better.
And with that being said, guys, we'll see you next week.
Bye.